What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder. We have a ton of Marvel news to go over today. Simu Liu was just at New York Comic-Con where he was talking about scenes that he was shooting with the X-Men. So Shang-Chi X-Men team up confirmed. We have official news from Marvel Studios, from NYCC once again, about the Vision Quest series. They have confirmed the full cast, including a major character that is going to be making his MCU debut. And on top of that, Channing Tatum has revealed a lot about how he views Gambit in his mind, how Gambit is kind of going to be in Avengers Doomsday, and what the Gambit movie from Fox once upon a time was actually going to be like. It was going to be rated R, and according to him, they were going to do a lot with that R rating. So, a lot to break down. Let's get into it. And if you love Marvel, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news. So, first things first, like I mentioned, Simu Liu reveals that Shang-Chi will share scenes with Professor X and Magneto in Avengers Doomsday. I said they're going to share team-up scenes, but I actually think they're going to share scenes where they team up and where they fight each other as well. We'll get into that, but let's see what he had to say. This is via CNET.
Talents or Patrick Stewart, like just people who I grew up watching and idolizing.
Me too.
And then having gotten, maybe having gotten the opportunity to do scenes with them at some point.
Maybe.
That may or may not have been even better. Would be something that I maybe would say if I
would say
in the movie.
Which is.
No, it was. I mean, it was incredible. It was.
And then he says it was incredible.
Like I can't even describe it.
So this is kind of funny because it seems pretty like planned out, almost scripted with what he said, because he knows what he can and what he can't say. Anything these actors from Marvel go on stage to talk about or do an interview to talk about, they know everything they can say. Marvel briefs them, their publicists brief them, they know. So he kind of beats around the bush, but eventually says it. He's like, maybe I did scenes with them, and maybe it was amazing. Maybe that's something I could say if I were in the movie. Well, he has a chair. He's in the movie. We already know this, right? So obviously he shares some scenes with the X-Men. But he specifically talks about Professor X and Magneto, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. So I think most people agree with this take. The X-Men and the Avengers are going to fight at first. We've been hearing a lot of talk about the Avengers versus the X-Men, a specific scene in Avengers Doomsday. I believe we get that scene. Again, my theory is that because Dr. Doom attacks the X-Men at the X-Mansion, a character coming from a different universe, when the Avengers go from their universe to the X-Men universe, they might think that they're getting attacked again, which leads to an Avengers versus X-Men battle. Of course, I think this all ends when Monica Rambeau comes out and says, hey, wait, everybody stop fighting. They're from the world I came from, and these people aren't bad. They've actually been taking care of me. That stops the fight. You gotta wonder how a fight would go between Shang-Chi and Magneto, though. Based on whatever material that the rings are made of, if they are made of some type of a metal, which it seems like they are, you would think that Magneto might be able to control them. However, there is kind of a mysticism, a magic that is attached to them. So maybe Magneto might not have full strength over them, and that might be a very interesting scene to see. So I'm all here for a fight between Shang-Chi and Magneto, and then eventually them all being friends and fighting together. If Magneto can kind of control the rings, perhaps him and Shang-Chi could have some killer scenes together, working together to fight Doom. So that's going to be a crazy awesome scene. Let me know if you're excited for that. Now, moving on to Vision Quest at NYCC, Marvel Studios themselves revealed the full cast, and this is actually coming from Marvel.com. It's titled NYCC 2025, Marvel's Television's Vision Quest concludes the trilogy that started with WandaVision. So they confirm it is a trilogy. We have WandaVision, and then we had Agatha all along, and now we have Vision Quest. They state, the avenging android returns to the silver screen. During the Marvel Animation and Marvel Television panel at New York Comic-Con, Brad Winderbaum, who is the head of Marvel Television, had one final surprise up his sleeve. He brought out the MCU veteran Paul Bettany, better known to longtime fans as Vision, of course, to unveil Vision Quest. The upcoming Marvel television series marks the final installment in the trilogy that started with WandaVision and continued in last year's Agatha All Along. Fans also got a sneak peek at footage from the show revealing several key cast members. Henry Lewis as Dumb E from Iron Man, Jonathan Sayer as you, again from Iron Man, the other arm, James D'Arcy as Jarvis, Orla Brady as Friday, and Emily Hampshire as Edith. James Spader also returns as Ultron, of course, reprising his role from 2015's Avengers Age of Ultron. And here's the big part. The footage ends with a shot of Ruarid Malika appearing in a CCTV recording where he's identified as Thomas Shepard. Now, I apologize to the actor. I probably butchered their name. I've actually never seen that or heard that before, but I know who Thomas Shepard is. That's Tommy, aka Speed, who is the brother of Billy / Wiccan from Agatha All Along and the son of the Scarlet Witch. So Vision, like they said, will complete the trilogy of WandaVision, which is all about really Wanda and Vision's family. That's why the second son, Speed, is finally appearing in Vision Quest. So at the end of Vision Quest, we will have, well, in theory, Wanda on Earth somewhere if she hasn't actually died, which I never really thought she did. Then we will have Billy, who made his return in Agatha All Along. Vision is returning in Vision Quest, and Speed is going to be introduced there as well. He was kind of introduced in Agatha All Along, but now we'll really get to know him. So eventually, this really does seem like a children's crusade comic storyline, where the two children realize that they are the sons of the Scarlet Witch, and they go to find her. And then you just throw Vision on top of that. This looks like a Scarlet Witch family reunion. And lately, we've been hearing talks about the Scarlet Witch returning, and this does make sense. It looks like Marvel Studios is kind of moving towards that. A lot of things have been kept under wraps about the Scarlet Witch, but if this is any indicator at all, and it really does seem like it, the Scarlet Witch should be returning to the MCU soon. Maybe not in Vision Quest, but in Avengers Doomsday maybe. And to top it all off, Channing Tatum has been doing a lot of interviews for his upcoming movie recently, the Toys R Us movie, and of course everybody's asking him about Gambit, which I love because they're asking him about what the movie he was going to do for Fox was going to be about and how he kind of views Gambit for Avengers Doomsday. He answered both of those. Let's check it out. He hints that Marvel has ideas for the characters, and he says, if the fans really want it, I think there's a world where Gambit could finally get his due, talking about a Gambit movie finally. When asked if the long-lost Gambit movie could ever rise from the ashes, meaning the Fox one they were going to do, he smirked and said this: "Look, if we made our Fox version, the script would have never gotten made, ever. It was an R-rated romantic comedy. And when I say R-rated, I mean we went for it. We made Gambit the kind of character who could only exist in a movie with Deadpool. We had mutants having sex. It was wild, full on. That's something Marvel and Disney would never do. You don't always know what Disney will be, but you definitely know what it's not going to be. It's not going to be horror. It's not going to be sex, but I think Marvel needs that kind of tonal diversity, something to balance the other side. Gambit's a great opportunity for that. There's so much you can do with him, and he's slowly being built into the Marvel psyche. It's fascinating, and I think one day they'll figure it out." So that sounds like it was going to be a wild ride. I'm glad it didn't get made, because otherwise that wouldn't have all led to Deadpool and Wolverine, his big return, and now him being in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like, everything worked out, I think, the way it was supposed to work out. Everything kind of happens for a reason type of situation, because now he's back and he's loving it. And here he talks about how he views Gambit and kind of how Gambit's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. It's kind of interesting to hear. Check it out.
And to get to play him again now is even just more delicious than I can even describe, and in a completely different kind of movie, in a way. The Russos,
completely different kind of movie, okay.
Movie than Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds, and he's still going to be the Cajun. You know, he's still going to be the Raging Cajun. He was the most real out of all of the X-Men to me. He liked women. He smoked. He drank. His moral compass was very gray. He was never going to be a villain. He didn't have the heart to be a villain, but he wasn't exactly a hero, and I think that's very human.
Yeah,
Derek was Derek Cianfrance, the director of Roofman's line. He's like, I've never met a hero and I've never met a villain. I've just met humans. So I have stolen that. And yeah, that's why I love Gambit.
Yeah, I have stolen that. So that's how he kind of is thinking his character is, how Gambit is, and that's how he's going to portray the character. Honestly, I really love it. And he's already said that the accent is going to be toned down for Avengers Doomsday, since Deadpool and Wolverine is, a comedy. It's an action comedy. Ryan Reynolds really went all out with Channing Tatum, telling him to like, oh, do the accent so hard this time I can't even understand what you're saying. So Channing Tatum's already revealed he's going to dial it back a little, which I think is good for a more serious movie. But now we've learned a little bit about how Channing Tatum's Gambit is going to be, not necessarily a hero, not a villain per se, but we do know he's going to be a part of the good guys, at least eventually. We'll see what happens originally when he returns. I'm pretty sure he's just going to go with Deadpool and Wolverine, who, you know, Deadpool isn't exactly a hero either, but he is a good guy. And I think the same thing is for Channing Tatum's Gambit. I'm super excited to see him in Avengers Doomsday with Shang-Chi and Magneto and Professor X and Deadpool and Wolverine and the Avengers and everything. It's just going to be absolutely crazy. I'm so excited for it. Let me know how excited you are for it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all Marvel news. And you can also catch us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.